Got tired of the squeaky share in the tractor, so now it's coming out and see what's up there, because we have tried lubing and spraying and so on. It's the top part is just held in place with 4 bolts holding the rails to adjust the position on it. Maybe a little bit of a strong Loctite on there, because they were a little hard to start getting undone. So the share part could be lifted out, and then there is some rubber over the suspension part under the share itself, or the seat. Here it's a bit messy with some grease that we'll try to lube, and we started hearing the squeaking, but I think it's something else, and I found the problem now, so I will share with you. 4 more bolts, this time with a big washer and a nut underneath on the base. And then the suspension part could be lifted out. At first I just planned to remove the dust cover to have easier access, but decided to really find the root of the problem. Put a little stool in there too. And here you can hear the squeak as we had it in the garage. My dad was putting force on it, and tension from the springs were removed by twisting that handle, and then one side, the pin in place, is just pushed there with a little spring lip that locks it, so that was easy to start removing. A little slot you can twist it over, and it's possible to slide it all the way out, and disassembly have started. And here I'm picking out one of the plastic bushings here. I found one that was actually really broken, and it was metal on metal contacts, and that was probably the real issue with the squeaking. Some of the pins here needed a little tapping to get out. There is actually 6 of these plastic bushing here. 4 in the 2 in the top and the bottom in the back, and then 2 in the middle in the scissor lift arrangement. The parts diagram only shows 4 of them, so but you need 6 if you want to replace all of them. At the bottom there is a height limiter assembly where you can lock it at a lower height, but with both me and my dad are long enough, so I think it's hardly ever been touched, so it's always in the highest position. Spent some time cleaning up, since we have added grease and different sprays to try and reduce it. There are plastic wheels in some guides that we suspected at first were squeaking. Removed some little burrs on the spring holder, if that could cause any sounds, and had the gas strut, the dampener out, and now we finally fixed the gas exhaust pipe that keeps moving on us. Now it's whole all the way through, and a nail there to stop it from rotating. So new plastic pieces, they were like $100 or 900 Swedish to buy all the plastic pieces, so quite expensive plastic pieces. Here you can see the wheels in their grooves as the first part was in place. Then I ran into issues with this. It's just a cosmetic thing to visually show you what height you're at, and how the spring was attached I couldn't remember, and I should have taken pictures when taking it apart. So it was put on there. I'm not sure I made it correctly. New wheels on this part, new plastic bushings at the end, and then it was I was uncertain which way this was go. I had printed out the parts diagram and I tried. It's not very good, but so I did put it in as I thought it would be according to the parts diagram. That turned out to be wrong, so that piece had to be flipped later, but I missed some of the video here, so we had put it pretty much all together, and then this pin that slides in would not go in place because of the tight clearance and the part being a tiny bit different. So if you have one of these chairs apart, check that this pin goes into place, then you can find out the orientation of that piece. And then the height limiter adjuster, and since it holds the gas strut, and you have to kind of slide it into a little groove there and then slide it back. It was a little bit tricky, and there are some tabs that secures it in place, and a little metal flap with a hole where the pin that holds the gas strut, so that was a little bit on the tricky. We did test some other places to hook up that visual aid, but we ended up putting it where we first had put it, and if that was correct I'm not sure, but I'm not too worried. If that breaks, it's not gonna hurt anything. Then the spring assembly was lifted back in, and my dad had changed to a wooden chair in there because he had used it a little while the original chair was out. I had told him he had cleaned up in there, but I told him not to touch the base because there was some little grease left there, and show the pattern where it was bolted to the base, so it would be easy to find the proper location for it. And then the seat itself was put in place, bolted in place. It's nothing too tricky about that. On that part it wasn't really possible to put it in a faulty place. And then I found a function I hadn't really known about. The lever here allows you to get a little like back and forth suspension action, so we have mainly just used the crank to adjust the spring tension, and then to be able to turn around and back and forth and backrest. So, but it's back in place and it's quiet now.